Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Newsbeat. This is a live broadcast from our studios at Northridge in Accra. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Let's take a look at our top stories today. At least 30 students of the Islamic Senior High School in Kumasi injured as police allegedly shot into protesting students. We'll bring you a live update from Kumasi. Makoto Krom residents and drivers hit roads to demonstrate against government over the deplorable state of their roads. Also coming up, filing of nominations for executive elections of the ruling New Patriotic Party starts today. A total of 50 aspirants picked their nomination forms to contest various positions. We'll bring you an update. Details of these and many other stories are coming up shortly. Stay with us.
Justice!
Welcome to the program. Let's begin today's broadcast from the Ashanti region, where at least 30 students of the Islamic Senior High School at Abrepo in the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi have been rushed to the hospital after police allegedly opened tear gas on them while they were demonstrating over frequent road accidents in front of the school. I'll speak to Ashanti regional correspondent for more on this, but first, listen to some of the worried parents who rushed to the school.
I was at the Kotoko Junction when I saw the students demonstrating on the streets. A police vehicle loaded with personnel accosted the students. They started beating them with belts and canes. The students then retaliated as they started pelting stones at them. The police then started shooting and also fired some tear gas at them. I am yet to see my ward, who is a student here. I'm a driver and I was on the road. I had to rush here when the news broke. I'm very worried because I'm yet to see my child.
Abdelbasit Suleiman is our resident correspondent in the Ashanti region and he's joined me via Zoom to tell us more. Abdelbasit, welcome to the show. What really happened? Hello, Basit, can you hear me? Hello, Abdelbasit. We're trying to get in touch with our resident correspondent in the Ashanti region, Abdelbasit Suleiman, to give us details as to what really happened, if there have been any fatalities or any casualties so far. But it looks like we're having some connection problem getting to him. Right, and meanwhile, the National Ambulance Service in the region says the students who are on admission are responding to treatment.
enti ya fra ambulance bebre enti nkwala be nsia na nso de ya de om ko hospital obia nya bibia nya obia sese ya de ya ma om ko school teacher for na ekira de enti bibia broni beka se aye normal enti obia ma ne yam nhihye no ye free ha om ekọ ye ne de bia ba a om ho atọ om ye free ha mi amedi ekira ko hospital suntre so menchia ye kwa akọhwe om ama mo ati de asie ti mesrɛ mo obia mana kuma ntɔneyam bibia anya obia ya da mo ase.
We'll stay a bit more in the Ashanti region and speak to our resident correspondent, Abdul Basit Suleiman, who I understand is back on the line. Abdul Basit, I believe you can hear me now. What really happened?
Yeah, Ken, as you can see behind me, there are scores of parents over here who got the news this morning that there has been a shooting incident at the Islamic Senior High School over here at Abepo in the Swami municipality of the Ashanti region. And what triggered the shooting incident was that the students over here this morning trooped onto the main street that links Abepo to Barkasi to demonstrate over what they claim as constant knockdown by vehicles at the premises of the school. Just last Friday, a teacher here at the school was knocked down by a vehicle, which angered the students and decided to protest to drum home their consent to authorities to come and construct speed ramp at the entrance of the school. Unfortunately for them, during the protest, they blocked several roads that leads to the school. Police personnel who were deployed here came to disperse them with tear gas, and the students ran away to their schools, but some of them were injured, and as a result, the police even fired tear gas and live bullets as well. We saw a spent and unspent live bullet around, which was allegedly shot by the police personnel over here. About 30 students are currently battling for their life at various, some are at the Confirmatory, some are at the South Hospital, some are at Mensha Hospital, battling for their life as I speak with you right now. A lot of parents have gathered here to see their parents and see their wards, to find out how their wards are doing, but they are not being allowed to enter inside. So there is a chaotic scene over here at the entrance of the school right now as I speak with you. You can see behind me, a lot of them say they cannot go home without seeing their children because they've seen on television that a lot of them have felt unconscious and they don't know how their children are faring. So they are not leaving here until they have access to their children.
Right.
I understand 3 of the teachers were picked by the police as I speak with you. Even though school authorities are declined to speak with the media, the police too are willing to speak to the media. So we are here to see what will happen next.
Right, and it looks like we've not seen the school administration saying anything. Have we heard from the administration of the school? And if you have, what have they been saying?
Yeah, the school authorities are tight-lipped on the incident because the education director, the Ashanti Regional Education Director, was here to calm down the parents, and they've been told not to speak to the media for now until investigation is done on the issue. So as of now, no, the school authority is willing to speak to the media, even though 3 of the teachers have been picked by the police as I speak with you right now.
Right, Abdul Basit Suleiman, kindly keep us updated on this developing story. He's our resident correspondent in the Ashanti region. Meanwhile, the National Ambulance Service in the region says the students who are on admission are responding to treatment.
They are responding to treatment. All of them are stable. They are under stable condition. But mostly they were suffering from difficulty in breathing, and that was as a result of the intoxication that they inhaled. And some are asthmatic patients, and because of that, it triggered their situation. So we have to quickly attend to them with oxygen, and we administer their self-medications that they also had on them. So some of them had their inhalers. We have to help them to take it in. and then we help them with oxygen as well. So as of now, they are all responding to treatment and they are doing very well. That was the difficulty. The difficulty was actually the crowd control. We were not given the situation to work. You see, when it gets to this situation like this, people always want to come to DBS. People always want to always want to help. You know, when situations like this come up, people always want to help. And it's not everybody who can help professionally. So how the people were lifted and we were met with some of them on the way, you know, because it is.
From the Ashanti region, let's take you to the Bunu region, where residents and drivers of Yauhima and Kotokrom this morning are demonstrating against government over the deplorable state of the major road from Kotokrom to Yauhima in the Sunyani municipality of the Bunu region. Ibrahim Abode is currently in the town and brings us up to speed on the demonstration. Ibrahim, can you hear me? Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. What more can you tell us concerning this demonstration? We've lost Ibrahim Abode, who is our man on the ground, but we try to reconnect with him once we get through to him. Away from that, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEU of TUC, has sent what it describes as stronger signal to the government to immediately pay cost of living allowance to its members to prevent any turbulence on the labor front. In a telephone interview with my colleague Gabriel Obodai, General Secretary of the union, Mark Cranche, said its members have reached their limit in the face of the excruciating economic conditions in the country and cannot wait any longer.
The concern of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union of TUC Ghana, for that matter, TEU of TUC Ghana, is very simple, as we all can bear witness. There are a lot of hardships in the system. The economic conditions in the country is rising very high. Workers are suffering. So we're calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, pay the public sector worker some cost of living allowance to mitigate the suffering that we are going through. Last year, when we had to negotiate for salaries for 2021 and 2022, government came up with a list of things that restrain it from giving higher salary increase. And workers and leadership had to consider granting that, because we also felt that we were in the same boat together. So let us not rock the boat. Let's agree to the 4 and 7% increase. At the time, the inflation rate was hovering around 9%. So we said, fine, if we are losing just 2 percentage points, it's okay. And we accepted it on condition that certain things were going to be put in place to, as it were, mitigate the suffering. Now, as we speak, inflation is around 24-25%, if it has not gone beyond that. And cost of living is increasingly becoming higher. Prices of fuel, race-related commodities are all skyrocketing. It is becoming very, very unbearable for the ordinary Ghanaian worker. It is the payment of cost of living allowance. Now the call has been made, and up to now, as we speak, today is 13th of June, nothing has been heard. And workers and the general public will recall that during the 2022 May Day celebration, the Secretary General of Trade Union Congress, on behalf of all Ghanaian workers, made this passionate appeal to government that the payment of COLA was imminent because of the increasing cost of living. And up to now, government seems to be paying no attention at all. We will call our workers and sit with them and see what next step we will take.
So there isn't a definite action to take, but you will be advising yourself.
I cannot announce any definite because we have structures, and the structures will have to do the decision.
Is striking imminent?
Well, it is a possibility.
Municipality over deplorable roads. Ibrahim, can you hear me now? Welcome to the show. What more can you report concerning that demonstration?
Yes, good afternoon. As we speak, I am currently inside the Chira station in Sunyani. The demonstration started this morning, and the organizers of the demonstrators actually are from this part of the station, and they are demonstrating over the state of roads that they have, especially the road linking Sunyani to Techima, Sunyani to Wenchi, and then many other places. And according to their narration, the road has been that way for almost a decade now, and it has not been renovated, or it has not been done for them. And so therefore they have to take to the street. So as we speak, I have the treasurer, who happens to be the spokesperson to the group here. He will tell us why they decided to do that. Thank you very much, Mr. Alassane Husseini.
Thank you, Alassane Seydi Rada.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Actually, the road has been there for almost 5 years now. Fine, it's been under construction, and the contractor left site barely about somewhere late last year. Yeah, somewhere middle of last year, exactly. And all appeals to the contractor to come back to the site, it's in vain. So we, the concerned drivers, and then residents from Yahima all the way to Chira, we decided that no, it's high time we let the authorities know what is going on. So we decided to embark on this peaceful demonstration. Peaceful demonstration in the sense we the drivers, both taxi or vans, and then the tipper truck drivers, we decided no car is going to from 6 to 12. We are going to park our cars and then to let the authorities know the sort of state we are in. The road is a vulnerable state. We are now, I don't say potholes, they are manholes. You go from here to Techima, you have to go to the magazine. You have to go and then fix your car. In fact,
so they came out in numbers, not just drivers, residents and passengers. This morning, no car has loaded from Sunyani to Techima, and Sunyani to Wenchi, Sunyani to Kintampo, and all these places pass through that or the private road to those destinations. So since morning, they just returned from the regional coordinating directorate, where they've presented their petition to the regional minister. There have been issues throughout the demonstration. They actually had challenges with the police, but the leadership of the association was able to manage their members, and then they settled things out. So as we speak, they are currently at the Chira station. There's still drumming and dancing that is ongoing. Some of the demonstrators are still releasing their stress and then making their arguments. So that is how it happened this morning at Sunyani.
Right. It looks like this one is a bit serious of a demonstration. Is this the first time they are demonstrating since you have said that the road has been bad for decades?
Actually, this one is the biggest. Okay. They have made so many arguments, and the people are all out. They have really had challenges with the police throughout this demonstration. At the point, the police will have to block the road. They will come in, and they have arguments with the police here and there. Warnings were issued here and there. When they go to the regional coordinating directorate, they asked the regional minister to come out. The police really prevented them from getting into the premises of the regional coordinating directorate. And according to their argument, it is only the leadership who could get to the regional minister and then present the petition to her.
Right. Ibrahim Abode, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on events happening in the Sunyani municipality. Let's now go to the Accra-Tema motorway, where there's a heavy traffic as a result of maintenance work being done on that stretch. My colleague Elvis Andor is on the 19-kilometer stretch and joins us live with an update. Elvis, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Where have you got into and what more can you report?
Accra-Tema motorway, where the traffic situation here is very heavy. as we speak at the moment, when we were coming to this very site, we spent more than 2 hours to get to this place, just because from the either side of the road, it is very heavy with traffic, and a lot of passengers and drivers have been complaining about it, while some passengers say that the situation is very worrying and not favorable for them, because they would expect this construction work to be done in the evening, because this time is where they go in and out to do their businesses. Others are saying that there is no need for them to have to use this road, but rather there should be a different diversion into the route. So I'm going to get closer to some of them to speak to the drivers as well as the police, which is managing the traffic situation at the moment. So let's get closer to them. Hello, good afternoon, sir, and welcome to Metro News.
Talk to the officers.
Sir, please, we've seen that there is a lot of traffic. How are you managing the situation here?
We don't have the capacity to speak to you. Talk to our boss.
Definitely, you don't have the capacity to speak to us, but you can share with us. You have been here, and you know how the situation has been on the field. Are the drivers complying with the directive you are giving them? Are they listening to how you are instructing them to obey the traffic regulations because of the maintenance work?
I still maintain that our boss is here. Talk to our boss.
Can I speak to your boss then? So apparently he is directing me to speak to his boss because he doesn't want to commit himself. But then some passengers would also like to share their views on this. Madam Pacho, I hear any chair answer
3 hours.
3 hours.
Because of the road is one way. The government must make sure that they must have a plan for this so that everything will not suffer like this. Because some people can lose their job because of this.
Okay, so that is his view and concern shared on the situation on the Accra-Tema motorway. But then we are still getting closer. I have seen a member of the Highway Authority that I would like to speak to him on how possible this situation would. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you and welcome to Metro News, sir.
I've told you I don't want to speak to that. I cannot speak to that.
So it looks like most of the people or authorities on this particular project are declining to speak to Metro News. As to the reasons why they are declining to speak to us, we cannot give, but I feel obviously it might be because they are not in the position, or they have been instructed by some authorities not to speak on the matter. But as it stands, this is the traffic situation here. So if you're coming or you want to use the Tema Accra motorway and you are from either Tema or you are from Accra coming, then automatically you are expected to go through this traffic before you can reach your destination. Several people have complained about the time they left home. Some said they left home around 4 a.m. and others say 3 a.m. Others also said they left home 7 and they are expected to get to Accra around 8. But then the situation here has not given them the opportunity to get to the road, to get to their various destinations as expected of them. So this is the situation on the Tema Accra motorway, and a lot can be said. This 19-kilometer stretch since its construction by Kwame Nkrumah has not seen any major repair works done, and so the situation now is currently deteriorating and it is not convenient for users on the stretch. So you can see and tell for yourself what exactly is happening on the Tema Accra motorway, and so this is what I can report on. Ken, if you can hear me in the studio.
Thank you very much, Elvis, for that report. He's on the Accra-Tema motorway. Now, filing of nomination for MPP National Executive position starts today. We'll tell you more after the break. Hello again. Let's talk politics as the ruling New Patriotic Party begins filing of nomination forms today, 13th June, and ends on Wednesday, 15th June. The incumbent women organizer, Kate Jemfua, and a 3-time chairman, hopeful Stephen Intima, expected to file their nomination forms today. A total of 50 aspirants picked nomination forms to contest various positions in the upcoming national executive elections of the party. Other notable party members, including incumbent General Secretary John Buedu, Professor Ameyao Ekumfi and Charles Bissiu, declared their intentions to occupy some executive positions. We shall take you to the national head office shortly, but before then, here's a roundup of the nomination process. As part of the processes leading to the election of national executive officers, the ruling New Patriotic Party opened nomination for prospective aspirants from June 8 to 12. The party's headquarters is awash with candidates' posters showing their readiness for the upcoming elections. Almost all the 50 candidates that have picked their nomination forms so far were not there in person, but rather sent their personal aid for the forms. Following the closure of the picking of nomination forms, filing begins today, Monday, 13th June 2022 to Wednesday, 15th June 2022 at the party's headquarters in Accra. The incumbent national women organizer, who is yet again vying for the position, is expected to file her nomination form today, while Stephen Ntim, who has unsuccessfully contested for the chairmanship position for 3 consecutive times, is also set to file his nomination today. The vetting of the aspirants will commence from June 17 to 20. The vetting committee is expected to release its report on June 22, while the National Appeals Committee will sit on any case between June 24 to June 25. My colleague Frederick Clarence Williams is currently stationed at the MPP National Headquarters, and he joins me for an update on what is happening there. Frederick, can you hear me? Welcome to the show. What is happening at the place? Who have so far picked their nominations?
Only 2 people have filed their nomination. That is Kate Jemfua, the vying for the women organizer position, and then Frimpong Kodia also vying for the general secretary position. So far, only 2 people have submitted their forms. But let me run you through 1 or 2 things that happens here. Kodia came with his supporters, massive supporters from every part of the country, came supporting him to submit his form. But the Jemfua, the women organizer, the incumbent women organizer, did not come. He came, the 16 regional organizers, they came on her behalf to pick or to file the nomination form for her. So I can tell you that this place is there are a whole lot of people over here waiting for their candidate to come so that they rally behind their candidate to file the nomination forms.
Have any idea who is yet to come and is possibly to come today?
Now we are waiting for maybe in the next 30 or 1 hour, and Stephen Ntim will come with his supporters to submit the nomination form. But I can tell you, these are the only 3 people that I have in mind that will be submitting their forms today. That is Kate Jemfua, Frimpong Kodia, and then the Stephen Ntim vying for the chairmanship position.
Right, Frederick, thank you very much for that update. Away from that, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Afriyie Akoto, has begun his annual regional tour in the country to interact with farmers, agro-input dealers and extension officers. My colleague Derek Adote is with the entourage of the minister and joins us with more information. Hello, Derek. Welcome to the program. What more can you tell us?
Meeting.
We apologize for the poor video shown on your screen. Now, today marks the International Albinism Awareness Day under the theme, United in Making Our Voice Heard. Let's use this opportunity to learn a bit about albinism. Albinism is a rare, non-contagious, genetically inherited condition present at birth. In almost all types of albinism, both parents must carry the gene for it to be passed on, even if they do not have albinism themselves. The condition is found in both men and women, regardless of ethnicity and in all countries around the world. Albinism results in a lack of melanin, a type of pigment that gives color to the hair, skin, and eyes, causing vulnerability to the sun and bright light. There is no cure for the absence of melanin that is central to albinism. The lack of melanin also means persons with albinism are highly vulnerable to developing skin cancer. In some countries, a majority of persons with albinism die from skin cancer between 30 and 40 years of age. Skin cancer is highly preventable when persons with albinism enjoy their right to health. This includes access to regular health checks, sunscreen, sunglasses, and sun protective clothing. People with albinism face multiple forms of discrimination worldwide. Albinism is still profoundly misunderstood socially and medically. The physical appearance of persons with albinism is often the subject of inaccurate beliefs and myths influenced by superstition, which foster their marginalization and social exclusion. This leads to various forms of stigma and discrimination. The United Nations Human Rights Council adopted a resolution in 2013 which calls for the prevention of attacks and discrimination against persons with albinism. This year's theme, United in Making Our Voice Heard, was chosen because including voices of persons with albinism in all domains of life is essential to ensure equality. Poultry farming, because the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana National Association of Poultry Farmers, Dr. Boris Baidu, has called for a financial bailout for the local poultry sector. According to him, the current nosedive in the industry requires a similar austerity measure as offered Ghana's banking sector a few years back.
That if there should be a strong policy that will help the farmers, I call it a bailout for poultry farmers. Because I believe this government is also quite good in bailouts, as we saw for the banks. We believe that if they could also give us a bailout in the poultry sector, because right now, almost everybody, almost the whole industry has collapsed. And there are lots more people who want to do the business, but how do they start? Where do they start from? Again, they are confused. I mean, they don't know what to do. So there should be some kind of bailout from the government side, whereby, first of all, we will have a single digit of interest rate and not to be borrowing like the commercial people. And then, of course, we also having a strategy where we can bring raw materials, the price of raw materials down. I think the good effort of them was the ban of the export, but that should have been long ago, you know. And now the farms have collapsed. The ban is, well, going to help. But then here is a case where farmers do not even have the zeal or the feeling to even venture into the kind of business again. And that is the real problem. So I think that in the upcoming days, there should be some kind of, collaboration between stakeholders of the poultry industry, including the players of the feed mill, the pork processors, of course the raw material sellers, and the farmers, and again the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, and as well as Ministry of Trade. We should all come together and have a strategy of the way forward. Because at the end of the day, when things of this sort happens, it affects the GDP. And when the GDP is affected, it goes against to affect what? The economy. And that is what we are talking about. And the economy, when the economy is in shambles, then it affects everybody, whether you're in the poultry industry or whether you are not, then it affects all of us. But we say that the poultry industry plays a major role in the economy of the country. Because at the end of the day, farmers rearing 10,000 birds, 10,000 birds can have 120 people across the value chain for employment alone. So that is what we should be thinking.
It's now time for business, and Winston Taki is starting by with the latest. Winston, take us away.
Thank you, Ken. It's time to bring you the latest update from the world of business right after this. And now to our first business story. The government of Ghana will get $1 billion from some international banks for budget purposes and to boost the central bank reserve as the country seeks to cut its fiscal deficit and stabilize the cedi.
According to a Bloomberg report, Ghana raised $750 million through syndicated loans with the participation of about 8 African and European banks and $250 million from multilateral lenders. Standard Bank Group Limited, Standard Chartered, and Merchant Bank Limited led the arrangements, the report added. Ghana cut its budget shortfall to 7.4% of gross domestic product in 2022 from an estimated 12.1% of GDP and will dedicate $750 million of the syndicated loans to the budget for expenses and liability management. The rest will go to the Bank of Ghana to beef up its resources for swap deals. The report stated further that Ghana's debt ratio rose to 78% of GDP at the end of March from 66.3% of GDP a year before. The cedi lost 22% against the dollar this year, compared with 1% appreciation for the same period a year ago. The country will consider the second tranche of $1 billion in the latter part of the year after the mid-year review of the budget and taking into account the impact of the electronic transaction levy, oil and food prices, as well as geopolitics.
The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Efie Akoto, has begun his annual regional tour in the country to interact with farmers, agro-input dealers, and extension officers. My colleague Derek Adote is with the entourage of the minister and joins us with more information.
Right, so we are currently here in the Ahafo region, specifically in Goso, and this is the Regional Coordinating Council where the minister has come to pay a visit to the minister, the directors in charge of agric in the region, input also that they will brief him on the state of farming in the region before moving on to farmlands in the region. From here, we'll also be visiting Bono East, Ashanti region, and the Eastern region, all forming part of the tour of the minister to inspect the level of work per the government jobs. Remember that there's also a shortage in fertilizer in the country, which farmers are having to deal with massively, and that's one of the areas that the minister is looking at, encouraging farmers to change from the use of
We apologize for the breaking transmission. That will bring you more in your subsequent bulletin. Now we'll bring you an update from the latest from the forest and commodities market.
Market activity ensured that by the end of the period, the
That'll be all for business here on Newsbeat. My name is Winston Taki. We'll be back with sports after this break. Stay tuned.
It's 15:15 midday in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. It's time for sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Eastern Regional team Kotoku Royals qualified for the Ghana Premier League after drawing goalless to Tamayu at the Tema Sports Stadium over the weekend. Anayo Poku was there for us and spoke to the leadership of the club.
You can't describe it. You can't describe it, especially because after the torture of 40-minute waiting, you know, that makes it even worse. They make a big effort on the game. They don't realize the goal we needed, and then you have to wait and see. That's very terrible. That's a terrible moment. So, of course, the release and the happiness is even bigger. So I'm extremely happy for the team, for the players. The boys deserve it so much. So I'm happy to have a team like that, and I hope they will celebrate what they deserve.
This is a very long time. Zone 3 is producing a champion from Eastern region since exit of Power FC. And I believe strongly that it is a victory that we all need to celebrate. First of all, the victory is for Achim Kotoku, for Achim Wadan, for Eastern region, for entire Ghana. Yes. And I think that this victory will go a long way to change lives, make people happy, and we are going to ensure that we take a good impact in the Premier.
Well, now on the Ghana Premier League, let's bring you results of the Ghana Premier League. Kotoko managed to beat the Elmina 3-0 at the Barbara Sports Stadium. They were crowned champions. There you see the results on your screen. Adriana Stars were home, but they were beaten by Bibiani Gold Stars. Ash Gold won by 2 goals to 1. Great Olympics span Great Hasselhoff in the Manchester Derby by 3 goals to 0. Atakwa Mediama managed to beat Accra Lions by 2 goals to 1. Wafa also beat Elevate Wonders by 1-0. Real Tamale United managed to pick King Faisal by 1-0 in the week 33 of the Ghana Premier League. Let's go straight to the Babaya Sports Stadium where Kotoko were crowned champions of the Ghana Premier League for the 25th time. Let's hear their manager and Dr. Prosper Nate Ogo.
I think they are amazing people. From nowhere, we've gotten to somewhere. And I think it's because of their discipline, their commitment to the cause. I think that has actually brought us to where we are. And so I doff my hat for them. I'm proud of them. And I want to tell them that they have done really well. Are you cool to them?
Well, that's your sports. Harriet is standing by for the latest in showbiz. And she's talking about Burna Boy in a Nigerian place.
Thank you, John. It's time for entertainment news. The Nigerian police force have commenced a probe of Burna Boy over the shooting at Cubana Club in Victoria Island, Lagos. Burna Boy, real name Damini Ogulu, and officers attached to him are accused of attempted murder. In a report filed at the Bar Beach Police Division, the singer and 5 police escorts visited the Cubana Club around 4 a.m. on June 8. 4 waited outside while 1, identified as Inspector Ibrahim, who dressed in a mufti, accompanied Burna Boy into the club. The singer was in the VIP section with 3 women when he spotted another woman and asked Ibrahim to invite her to his table. But the lady's husband got furious over the artist's advances at his wife. Afterwards, Burna Boy repeatedly made fresh moves. The matter degenerated to a point that his police guards shot at club goers identified as Tolu and Eribami Lawrence. The spokesman said the personnel are in custody and being investigated for their involvement in the incident. The IGP has directed Lagos Commissioner of Police Abiodun Alabi to carry out a thorough investigation into the matter and forward his report as urgent as possible for further action. Well, that's it for entertainment news on Newsbeat. My name is Harriet Adi Kenneth.
Thank you very much, Harriet. Now, the Ghana Police Service has released a statement on the shooting incident at the Islamic Senior High School in Kumasi. And it reads, on Monday, June 13, 2022, some students of the Islamic Senior High School at Abrepo, Kumasi, in the Ashanti region, took to the streets and blocked the road to allegedly protest against frequent accidents in front of their school. The police managed to disperse the rioting students, and calm has since been restored. Some students and some police officers have been taken to the hospital for medical attention. The Inspector General of Police is proceeding to Kumasi for a first-hand assessment of the situation. The police have commenced an investigation into the incident and further developments will be communicated. Right, and we'll bring you more of that story in our subsequent bulletins. International news is next. Let's take you to Rwanda, where that country is getting ready to greet the first migrants transferred from the United Kingdom as their first flight should arrive next Tuesday, June 14. Kigali says London will provide up to 144 million euros for the plan and insists migrants will be quickly integrated into communities across the country. According to the United Nations figures, Rwanda was hosting more than 127,000 refugees as of September last year, almost half of them being children. Majority were Congolese. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.